Hello fellow Nobbits and Beat people. I'm George, the Gentleman Rocker. Yeah, welcome to Modular Monday. So in this series I want to show you my adventures into the modular world with all its side quests like synth DIY, new hardware news in this case, jamming on my stuff, and yeah, stuff I might not even think about right now. And in this episode, which is episode number 11, we'll talk about Superbooth, what was interesting, what modules I saw that really interested me. Yeah, stuff about Superbooth. Superbooth this year was really interesting. There was a lot of Eurorack stuff in various different directions and a lot of other stuff. But for me personally it was also interesting because it was just a few days before my workshop, which I'm back from right now, and which ended in a really cool concert. And yeah, basically a small rundown. We were 14, 15, 16, something like that, musicians from the most different genres you can throw together. So there were traditional folk music, classical trained musicians, singers, songwriters, me with my synthesizer and electro stuff and my kind of poppy background. And the idea was to get together and over 3 days write a whole concert with songs someone might have started or something from scratch, which I did together with a bass player and harmonica player. Yeah, we all sat down and just worked on songs for 3 days. The third day basically was just redefining what we will do in the concert and yeah, building the stuff, and it was really, really good. I will have some stuff online. I was there to film in addition to my synthesizer skills that I brought into, and yeah, we'll go online somewhere. I will let you know. But Superbooth. There happened a lot of stuff. As I said, when Superbooth was done, I had to go to the workshop, and that's why I had to rewatch a lot of stuff that came out in the aftermath of the Superbooth. As you might know, the 3 days of Superbooth is a lot of the stuff that the big companies are pushing out, and yeah, after that you see the smaller stuff that the people thought might be interesting. And I've written down a lot of stuff and I will take the paper to my hand, and there's so much. I've boiled it down to stuff that's really interesting, might be interesting for you, and mostly is interesting for me. So yeah, let's get into it. So this will be a talking heads video, so if you want to see some of this stuff, there are links in the description down below and I'll tell you about the videos also. And yeah, as I said, it's just a rundown. Let's talk about some stuff that's not really modular, but was really interesting. So the first thing that was announced, or that really stood out, is the Uno by IK Multimedia. And yeah, they worked together with the Sound Machine guys and built a sub $200 analog synthesizer with sequencer, which is really like a modern take, or a more modern take on the Walker idea. And it looks really promising. There's some really cool features that are really, really interesting. There's no CV or stuff like that. I guess there's not even MIDI. I might have to take a look at it, but I guess it's just USB. There's a video from Sonicstate which I saw first and which really got me with this announcement. The next thing are updates. And normally updates are not really that interesting, but it's for the circuit. And I have the circuit since it was starting to be sold. And with every update, the circuit gets a really nice new feature set. And the 1.7 update, which is the last one that was announced, gives you a song mode. So this small box that basically was a scratch pad for some basic ideas moved into something with, substeps. You have this pattern switching, you have the sample flip, and now you even have a song mode. And the song mode is really interesting because normally you had this 8 patterns that you could choose a start and end pattern, and it would loop between these patterns, running them from beginning to end. And right now the idea is to have 23 slots where you can store a pattern that is played, and it will be played in a loop. But if you want to have more patterns played, you can choose the beginning and the end. It will take up 2 slots, but it could be 6 patterns. So this way you could, for instance, take the first 4 pattern for the chorus and the other 4 for verse, or do 2 for verse and 2 for break. And you could program them just to play around, which basically is a song mode, a very interesting one, but nonetheless a song mode. So you can build your kind of songs with it, which is really cool. But besides that, there's also an update for the Monostation, the Circuit Monostation, which is their analog monosynth, and it will get patch flip, which basically is the same as sample flip. So you program a sequence and you can live switch or per step switch which patch is played. So you can basically change the whole sound. So if you build a kick and a snare sound plus a bass, you could do a kick, bass, snare, bass kind of progression and switch between the different sounds or patches, which is really huge. There are a lot of other things, and Gas from Sonicstate has 2 videos online that I will link down below, where he goes through the features that the new updates bring with CALC. So it's definitely a must-see if you're interested in the circuit or if you have one. And then there's a third little thing, and it's something like the pocket operator style range, which is this bare bone PCB synthesizers for your pocket. And it's from Twisted Electrons, which are a really cool and small synthesizer manufacturer. And they have the Acid 8, which is a 8-bit style chiptune bassline synthesizer, kind of like the 303. They have the Terapsid, which is a SID chip synth, stuff like that. And they have announced 2 pocket synths. The first is the Mini Acid 8, which basically is a shrink down version of the Acid 8. So you have this chiptune 303-ish kind of synth in your pocket with a sequencer and some effects. And the other thing is, let me look up the name, it's the HapiNES, which NES is printed in big letters, and if you hear it you know why. It's basically the sound chip that is in the NES recreated, and they added a sequencer to it, so you have a triangle bass sound, 2 square pulse width modulatable sound sources for melody stuff, and you can use a noise source and some of this triangle stuff to do, I guess, 36 different drum sounds, So you can have basically a chip-tuney 8-bit NES style sequence running, and both of the sequences are built in a way that you have a sequence that you change the transposition of. The square waves have this arpeggio effects, which are common in chiptune music. So they're really nice additions if you have pocket operators, because they also have this audio and clock in via this stereo cable. My idea is to get both. I really like this small sequence stuff, and together with the PO12, which is the rhythm, the PO20, which is the arcade, which is chiptuney in itself, and these two, you have a really cool backing. Then I have the robot, which is like a monolith synth kind of thing, and this all together looks like a really fun little chiptune setup. Nice little thing to get, and they're 99 euros plus taxes. So depending on where you are, in Germany it should be 120, as we have 19% taxes, which could be nice. Maybe it's 125, which is, in my opinion, a really good price for that from a really small manufacturer.